Welcome to the French Art Chronicles channel. Today we shine a light on Jules Bastien-Lepage, a pioneer of rural realism who revolutionized 19th century painting. Join us on an emotional and artistic journey into the soul of the French countryside through his works, an odyssey of peasant life. From idealization to reality, the new representation of peasants in 19th century art. As we examine the rural scene titled Les Foins, a flagship work by Jules Bastien-Lepage, we encounter an artist with a decade's painting experience. Hailing from Lorraine, he moved to Paris in 1867, and the following year joined the studio of the prominent academic teacher Alexandre Cabanel. Initially dedicating his talent to historical subjects and portraits of distinguished individuals, which brought him recognition, he gradually moved away from these themes to embrace one closer and dearer to him: rural life. A poem as a muse. The inspiration behind this painting stems from a poem by André Thuriet, a friend of Bastien-Lepage, whose mother also shares Lorrainian roots with the artist. Thuriet, an ardent nature lover, often celebrates it in his writings with great lyricism. These poetic lines inspired the painter to create a scene depicting a peasant couple, capturing the beauty of rest after labor in a welcoming natural environment. Noon. The light bathes the mown fields. On a mound of fresh grass, his makeshift bed, the mower rests, gripping his fists tightly. Seated beside him, a sun-kissed haymaker gets lost in her thoughts, eyes wide open, intoxicated by the enchanting fragrance emanating from the hay. The rural as muse. In his artistic endeavor to capture the essence of peasant life, Bastien-Lepage naturally looks to his hometown of Damvillers, just as Gustave Courbet captured the residents of his own town in the realist work A Burial at Ornans from 1850. He chooses familiar faces for his subjects, his grandfather for the role of the reclining mower, and a cousin to embody the weary young peasant woman. Bastien-Lepage's compositional choice favors an intimate setting that focuses on the figures by raising the horizon line, thus emphasizing the characters over the cut hay in the background, which gives the painting its name. He employs a dual approach in his technique, one detailed and precise, depicting the traits, expressions, and clothing of the characters, and the other more suggestive, capturing the atmosphere of the day and outlining the distant landscape. An initial sketch reveals a significantly different original composition, later refined by the artist for a more truthful depiction. The young woman is ultimately portrayed in three-quarter view, her tired expression and vacant gaze conveying exhaustion. Seated on the grass, her back is bent, with arms and hands resting lifelessly on her skirt's coarse fabric, and legs apart in an unpretentious pose. Far from posing, she does not attempt to beautify her hard condition. Her shoes, described with almost photographic realism, display the mud covering them, unflinchingly highlighting the ruggedness of peasant life. Behind her, the man rests, his face shielded by his straw hat, signifying a moment of respite and escape from the daily toil and the world around him. It's a break in time, a fleeting moment of forgetfulness and rest. Acclaim at the Salon. In 1878, Bastien-Lepage decided to present his vast depiction of peasant life, nearly 2 meters wide, at the Salon, accompanied by a portrait of André Thuriet. The critical reception was enthusiastic. Émile Zola, while recognizing his talent, nevertheless expressed a reservation about this warm reception, noting, "All innovators have initially faced significant resistance, without exception. The fact that he is being applauded might be a bad sign." Zola, who would later write La Terre, a novel rooted in the agricultural world, sees in Bastien-Lepage's work the very essence of what he aims to depict in literature. To him, Bastien-Lepage embodies the spirit of naturalism, a movement that aims to portray social reality without embellishment or idealization. The precision of detail and the truthfulness of postures make this painting a living testimony to the transitioning rural world. This success secures the promising career of the young artist. Tragically, his life ends prematurely at the age of 36. In tribute, his friend Auguste Rodin, following a fundraising initiative started by the painter's brother, creates a sculpture in his likeness for Damvillers, his hometown. The evolution of peasant representation in painting. From the 17th century with the Lenain brothers to Vincent van Gogh at the end of the 19th century, the peasant world has been a frequently depicted subject by artists. Although always in pursuit of realism, the representation in the 17th century is often idealized, concealing a symbolic message beyond simple peasant life. In the 19th century, with artists like Bastien-Lepage, the focus shifts to an authentic portrayal of rural life. In 1866, Millet, in The Angelus, presents an image filled with respect for field workers, showing their deserved rest. Inspired by Millet, Vincent van Gogh revisits this theme between 1889 and 1890, transforming the scene into a celebration of color, where the vivid yellow and blue veer away from any fidelity to reality. In the midst of the upheaval of the 19th century marked by the onset of industrialization and the persistence of a traditional way of life in the countryside, Bastien-Lepage chooses to depict peasants who are both weary and dignified, simple and perhaps naive, but embodying the noble task of cultivating the nourishing earth. If you're passionate about the wonders of French art and eager to dive into the fascinating stories behind each brushstroke, subscribe to our channel. Join our community on YouTube and never miss any of our journeys through the epochs of French art.